All right. About 2 minutes late, but that's okay. All right, welcome to another stream. My name is Mr. Charles. Just in case you didn't know, you're on makeITsimpleTT. That's the channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. The subscription link will be somewhere like at the bottom in red. And we're going through the specimen IT paper for 2020. And yesterday we did question 1. So today we'll be doing question 2. But going through it in great detail, trying to make you understand everything that needs to be done, how to interpret it, how to approach it, things like that. So, first thing is to, let me just ask you to kindly share this. Share it with your folks and friends. WhatsApp, Instagram, wherever you want to share it. I'll post any link in the chat, which is there. Welcome. Share. On. Alright, so let me make sure as much people as possible could benefit from the stream. If you're inside the chat, give me a shout one time, thumbs up, wave, whichever emoji you want to put. Just don't put the crying emoji because it's not a sad moment, it's a joyous moment. Alright, so who on the inside? Let me know. Hey, look. Fired. Or fired. Fired. Your naming like British should be. Fired. Vanessa, nice to see you on the inside there too. Share the thing up. Share the thing up, the link right there. Share the link to wherever. Matthias, Noel, Matthias, I didn't see you yesterday, but good to see you now. Nice to know that new people are on the inside. Alright, so once all you're ready, thumbs up, man. I ain't waiting for the live to fill up because that's kind of lame when I watch the video after the fact and the first 10 minutes is just the person trying to wait for the live to get full. Now, time I hit 4 minutes, the video ought to start. So, I give only 1 more minute to share it around, send the link, and then we just going ahead. Alright, so once they share, somebody thumbs up and we good to go. Safe. Right, as usual, trying to get everything done in an hour, so probably we have about 2 more videos because 4 questions, right? So we'll get done, Talk about share and I ain't shared anything yet. Instagram. Let me tell them we are live now. No, normal, switch camera. I'm taking a picture of y'all. Live now. Question 2 of the sample paper. All right, cool. So there you go. Question says, John Taylor is the systems administrator at St. Joseph High School. So again, always remember, you're going to always have this scenario at the start, and the scenario is going to be talking about different places, and you need to know how to apply IT to different places. If you don't know how to apply to different places, you'll end up messing up the question. So we realize that he's a systems administrator. Okay, so we know something about his job. Systems administrators, they have the goal of making sure that everything works properly, or putting it all together, or some kind of thing like that. And it's at a high school. So systems administrator in a school. Get that in your mind, that there's somebody trying to make a system work properly in a school setting. So you have to think school setting, and you have to think about IT in a school setting, right? So he's been asked to prepare a report. So there'll be some sort of reporting that has to take place. Then you have requirements for the computers and in a new computer lab. So it's a high school. They want to purchase things for a new computer lab. He's a systems administrator, and you need to know requirements of computers. These are things that you have to be able to pick up. Once you can pick that up, then you'll be able to figure out things about answering the questions. So now, as usual, after you read that full scenario, then we're going to read through the whole question so we can get in our mindset, all right, this is what this question is going to require. Let me get my brain into that gear, right? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to read through the question. So they want 4 major components of each computer system. All right, that's listing 4 things. Then they want to state a function of the components. Good. So you know that you're not going to state a function inside here. You're just going to list them. And then you're going to, in this one, you're going to answer the question of functions. Then you have John intends to create a network. So you see that they're asking about networking now. So they're merging the computer lab. He's the systems administrator, but he also has to be able to create a network. After the networking stuff, you see John is preparing his report. So now there's some sort of report that's going to take place. So in your mind, you're like, all right, cool. He's a systems administrator. He has to get things done for the lab, and he has to create a report. Get that in your head. Then the next part of the question, you see they have a spreadsheet. So now you have to get your mind in spreadsheet mode. Notice, I can't tell all of this more like enough. They are not going to ask you straightforward questions about just fill this out, or what is the definition of this, or who is doing that, or write out 10 things or something like that. They're not going to do that anymore. They are going to mix things, and the scenarios are going to come bulk together. So you have to be able to get a good grasp. That's why we're reading through the whole question. So you're going to get a spreadsheet, then you're going to get asked a whole set of questions about the spreadsheet, and the questions about the spreadsheet will be along Excel based. And then more Excel, and yeah, so then Excel will be last set of it, but it's still related to the school, because as you can see, it has the computer lab stuff inside of it. So now that we've read through the question, you kind of understand where your mindset is supposed to be, then you could answer it. And reading through the question, trust me, it's not going to take you more than 2 to 3 minutes to read through the question, because it's really, really, really important you understand what the question's saying. If you understand what the question's saying, then you're prepared to answer it better. So if you have half a day to chop down if you have a day to chop down a tree, spend half the day sharpening your axe, which is basically a parable, well, not a parable, like a metaphor, to let you know that if you have a whole question to do, take some time to understand the question, then answer it properly. Because the worst thing you want to happen is you start to write down answers, and halfway through the question you realize, but wait now, I answered them things wrong because I didn't understand what was going on here. So read it through first. After you read it through, then you can say to yourself, all right, cool, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to answer this question, I'm going to make sense of it. So, any questions about analyzing the question, let me know now. I'll continue talking about it. If you have no questions, thumbs up and we move on, right? Just analyzing the question, real important. There's no way that like you could undervalue that or understress it. If you have to read the question twice, read the question twice. And make sure you like the video too, the views and the likes not matching up. I mean, at least if you're viewing, just click like now, please. Thanks. That'd be cool. It might get us spread around a little bit. Much appreciated, human beings. I just see that meme here. Somebody explaining to my mother we in quarantine, not quarantine. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, your parents probably quarreling with you for no reason because you probably didn't watch the waves. Alright, good. So, y'all good there? Moving on. The likes and the viewers and matching up all you. Like the video now, thanks. I appreciate it. Alright, 4 components of a computer system. This is basically input, CPU, output, and storage. Right? Notice they ask about a computer system. They didn't ask you about a desktop computer. So every computer system must have some sort of input, must have some sort of processing. Right? So we'll take CPU or processing. You must have some sort of output and you must have storage available. Anytime they ask about a computer system, that's the basis of a computer system. What you don't want to do here is write things like keyboard, mouse, and all them kind of things. These are things for a specific type of computer system, which will be desktop. But that's not what they want. They want a general computer system. Must have an input, must have some sort of processing, must have an output, and must have storage. Think of your phone. Your phone has an input, which will be the touch screen, processing with the CPU. The output will be what you see on the screen, and storage will be memory and things that you have. So that's the trick there. A lot of students may put keyboard, mouse, monitor, and all kind of stuff like that. That's not what you're looking at. Alright, any questions about that before I move on? Once you're good, thumbs up, man. All right. Yeah. People would easily put the parts of a computer there in different parts, and you lose a whole 2 marks. Alright, so we're going to state the function of any one of the major components. So it'd be like input gets signals from devices. You could say or you could say output sends process data to a device, something like that. Processing is where information is processed. For processing you would say processing where data is changed from one state to another. That's basically what process is. When you put something through processing, you're changing it from one state to another. So you process, like you process meat. The meat will come in as a cow and then it'll come out as salami. yeah, that's what processing is. And I'll just put in storage for you. Storage keeps data for future use. Thumbs up. Any questions? But that's 1 mark, so you're not really supposed to, like, die over that, but you should have some sort of ability to handle that kind of question. Right? Thumbs up and you're good. Alright, so moving on now. So now they're kind of flipping the script now, and they're changing it from computer system and whatnot, and they're starting to talk about networking. Alright, so John intends to create an area that spans the computer lab through the type of network. Yes, a LAN. Right, because it's just the computer lab alone. LAN, local area network. LAN, local area network. Alright, so one of the things, if you know what LAN is, write out the whole acronym, because remember, you're trying to convince a human being that you're smart here, right? So you want to not, if you have a chance to impress, but you're not going to write a whole paragraph. But LAN, local area network, even though they'll accept the LAN, local area network will be a perfect example. You can't put man metropolitan, that's for city, and you can't put WAN, that's across countries. Simple application. Remember, we're still talking about a school, and we're talking about a school and their computer lab. Alright, so that was simple enough. If you have any questions, ask in the chat. If not, thumbs up. I'm moving on. If I see a question, come back, because you know YouTube have a little lag, right? So when I'm ready to move on, the chat does kind of be behind, but that's okay. Alright, so now we reach the part where he's preparing his report. Alright, preparing his report means that it's kind of like, how to put this by? He's a systems administrator, so he has to use some sort of software to create a report. In order to create the report, he has to get information. So they are now checking to see reliability of information. Like this question jumping over 4 different topics in the syllabus. And you might think, all right, well, I studied this topic real good. Now, if they bring a question on that, I'll get correct. Basically, if you study one topic real good, you'll probably get like 5 marks out of the 20, because the questions span in different parts of the syllabus. So you can't just study one part of the syllabus. You have to study all, and you have to be able to answer intelligently for all of them. So just keep that in mind. You can't study this in parts. You need to know all, and you need to know how to apply all, or else you'll be like getting 10 out of 20, 5 out of 20 in some questions, because you was trying to game the system. But it's being put in such a way that you can't game the system anymore, which is a good thing, I find, because now you actually have to have knowledge, not just regurgitation of information. So, reliability of information. How do you check for reliability of information? Well, you have many approaches. One could be bias. This is where you get the opportunity to structure your answer properly. Watch this. This thing is worth 6 marks. They ask you to discuss any 2 things. So that means whenever you see the word discuss, get this in your mind. Discuss must have state, explain, and then an example. So anytime you see discuss, tell yourself you have 3 things to do, because this is 6 marks, so it's 3 and 3. So for each one of these, any 2, you must have state something, explain it, and give an example. That is, go from CSEC all the way up to CAPE IT. Any subject that you could think of, once they say discuss, You had to work for their marks. So stating, this is the bias one. So we state bias. This is when the author may have a subjective, you could say subjective, or you could say slash unfair view on something. Good. So I do the state and I do the explain. So right now all I get out of the 3 marks is 2. In order to get the 3rd mark, I now have to give an example. Where does the example have to tie back to? This is where you're going to make your money. If the example ties back to the computer lab and John, if the example ties back to the computer lab and John, that shows that you not only understand what bias is, but you understand how to apply bias to this particular situation. So now you have to get an example of bias that will make sense. So John is preparing a report. He uses the internet to assist him in finding the specifications of computers. So how could you be biased in the specifications of computers? Example, going on an Apple website /blog, they will say their brands are always better. Is it true that their brands are always better? No. Bias is one of the answers because one of the approaches to evaluate information, that's part of the syllabus now. You have to learn how to evaluate information. So Jared asked me how bias is one of the answers. Whenever you're evaluating information, you have 3 things that you usually use. Bias, currency, accuracy, and reliability. I think those are the 4 that's in the syllabus. But when we go to the actual answer, we'll see. But bias is definitely one of them because that's how you evaluate information. Right? So, if you say bias, this is when the author may have a subjective or unfair view on something, and then you give an example. Going to Apple website or blog, they will say that their brands are always better. It is not true that it is always better, but because you went to an Apple website, they are always going to make their product look better. Same thing if you go and you buy something in a Samsung web, if you go and read information about Samsung fanboys, because everywhere they're going to have fanboys, and fanboys tend to be biased towards what they want to say. Right? So, next one now. Let's say we say currency. Once you say currency, you're doing the state part. So this is the state. Then you're going to now put this is when data /info is not within a particular time frame, right? Meaning it's not current. So if you say it's not current, good. Now you do the explain part. So you did the state, you did the explain. Now we have to give an example because remember you're working for a whole 3 marks here. You can't just be like currency and explain what currency is. So now you're gonna give an example. So we're gonna give an example and we're gonna say example, a website that is dated 5 years ago would have old hardware reviews and be useless. So look back at the question now. Question says, in preparing his report, because he's trying to do a report on the hardware that he has to get for the lab, he wants to check out specifications of computers for the computer lab. So therefore, he's going to try to go to websites that are going to give him specs. Werner, currency and time frame. Okay, currency means that it is, the information is current. So if the information is not within a particular time frame, it wouldn't be useful to you at that point in time. So you want to give an example that shows, okay, if something is 5 years old, it's not within a particular time frame, therefore it is not current. So if I ask you, what is the current state of COVID-19? You're not going to tell me about an article from 2 weeks ago, because the article from 2 weeks ago would say that there are 5 infections, when now, currently, if I check an article from yesterday, you would see that there are 19 or something like that. Right? Anjali asked how about customer reviews on the computers? Yes, customer reviews on the computers would be good, but it has to fall under one of these categories. You can't just say, discuss any 2 approaches. Customer reviews is like an example that you would use for like reliability or accuracy or something like that. So those are two possible answers. Accuracy and reliability would be like you could say accuracy. Accuracy is to make sure that the data is correct and without error. And then the example would be getting information from a website that has facts and reputable people talking, like a scientist or some kind of thing like that. Just check something. I can just see myself. Facts and reputable. Alright, sorry. I was just listening to myself there to make sure everything was making sense. Okay, cool. Right, so accuracy. Next one would be reliability. Reliability is like if reliability would be like sources, quoted sources. Because if you have a website and you don't quote any of the sources, then you are basically you're seeing it from your own personal view now. So like that's usually when you get forwarded message on WhatsApp or some kind of thing like that, and you ask the person where you got that from, right, and they tell you that they get it from the grandmother, then you're most likely not going to trust it because grannies are send weird things. But if they told you that they got it from some trusted source, or they get it from a teacher or some kind of thing like that, then you would be able to say, okay, cool, you have quoted the source. So if you quote the source, then you give an appropriate example. But I need you to grasp that you must be able to state, explain, and then give an example. State is to give the keyword, which they'll be looking for. Explain, which is to give an explanation of the keyword. And then give an example is where you are going to show that you are able to do this thing here called discuss. You see this word here called discuss? Students misinterpret that all the time. Like a lot. So when you see discuss, remember that you have to discuss. Must have the 3 parts. Nice. Customer reviews could be used as bias, yes. Larry asks if customer reviews could be biased. Yeah, if you use bias and you explain bias, and then your example is going to a website with customer reviews that are all bad, or customer reviews from people who purchase it in China or some kind of thing like that, or customer reviews from people who got a bad unit. Because one of the things, like when you go on Amazon, most of the one-star reviews, there'll be people who complaining about the shipping company, but they're not actually complaining about the actual item. So some people will write a bad customer review saying it reached late. So they rate the item to 1 star. But that has nothing to do with the actual item. That has to do with the fact that the shipping company shipped it late. So if you were to actually review the item properly, you would see that. So you have to look for those kind of examples with respect to bias. Right? Any questions again there before I move on? This is like a real solid question to test your discussion skills. Because to work for us, to work for the 6 marks, you gotta be able to give these things 3 points at a time. Thumbs up if you're okay. Question if you have a question. All right. Sorry. Jared said, I still not understand how bias will help him evaluate info. All right. When you look at the info, you're going to have to check to see if the person that said it will most likely have a bias. Therefore, you have to decide if to trust them or not. So let's say I come from a PNM rally and I dress up in red and I have a whole set of flags and everything around me red. Or let's say it's a UNC rally and I come back with everything yellow around me and I tell you, hey, this is the best prime minister the country has ever had. Or this is the best opposition leader the country has ever had. You're going to watch me and you're going to be like, all right, thanks for telling me that, but I'm not going to take you on because I'm evaluating what you're saying based on the bias that you have. You clearly are biased towards this person or this particular thing. Therefore, I am going to have to make a judgment call and be like, all right, this information may or may not be correct, but I can't trust it from this source because it is clearly leaning to a particular side. Which is the example I have here. If you go on a blog that has a whole set of Apple supporters or a whole set of Apple fanboys, they are clearly going to misrepresent the hardware that this person has to find for the computer lab. And you can't trust it because they are blind to the faults or the feature or the failures of whatever system it is. So bias is one of the ways that you will evaluate if information is true or not. You have to check to see if the source is biased. And if the source is biased, you shouldn't accept it. That's the whole concept behind it. It makes more sense to you now, Jared? I have to wait for him to answer. All right, next question. Cool. Alright, so now you're required to do a report, and the report is using a spreadsheet. So once you see spreadsheet, well, get in your head, alright, I just started thinking formulas and all them kind of thing, right? The incomplete spreadsheet is shown below, so now we have to fill out the spreadsheet. Alright, so we look at the spreadsheet, we are rows, we are columns, rows are here, columns are on top, nothing new there, columns on top, yeah, okay, right. Cell A1 is formatted across the columns for effective presentation. State the name of the formatting feature used to do this. This is called merge and center. Right? Good. Moving on now. Merge and center, right? So everybody good there with the merge and center, right? Good. You know why, right? Because we could clearly see that all these cells have spaces between them, but this one here is one big rectangle. Right, the text for the formula to be inserted in D3 to calculate the total cost for student computers. So we want to know what we put in D3. We want to know what we put inside here. So to find the total cost, we're going to have to multiply the units by the cost. So we multiply what is in B3 multiplied by C3. So we're going to put equal sign B3 multiplied by C3. One thing you have to pay attention to when you're doing Excel questions, you see when they say formula, a formula and a function is two different things. Formula is add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And function is like equal sum, equal average, all that stuff like that. So whenever they say use a function, you want to use the equal and whatever this is. When they say formula, you have to do some kind of maths. Right? B3 by C3. Cool. Moving on to the next part now. Write the text for the, right, now you're seeing function to be inserted in D13. So function is going to be function going to be right D13. D13 is here. Right, so now we want to do a function to add up all of these guys here. So in order to do a function, now we're going to use equal sign sum, open brackets, D3 colon D12. D3 colon D12. Right, the function is sum, so this is 1 mark here for the function and then 1 mark for the range. That's why it's 2 marks inside here. This previous one here with the thing, you're getting 1 mark for knowing the correct cells to use, and then 1 mark for knowing that you have to use multiplication. Right, that shouldn't be hurting you too much. Write a function now, insert the average cost per unit of an item in B15. B15 is whereby B15 is here, right here, right? So the average cost of an item per unit. So you're looking at the per unit thing. So it had to be equal sign, average. Don't write ABG here. ABG is not a function. Average of, we're starting at C3 and we're going down to C12. So average C3 colon C12. 2 marks again, 1 mark for the function, 1 mark for the range. Alright, anybody have any questions about that? Ask me now. Alright, everybody good there? Alright, Jared good there too. Cool. Alright, so moving on. John decides he wants the rows organized so that they are in order of the most expensive to least expensive. Explain how we could do this using features of the spreadsheet software. So if we want to organize the rows so that are in order of most expensive to least expensive, that means you want to organize the total, right? So you're going to go to sort and filter using the total column Z to A. So you have to be able to say sort and filter as 1 mark, and then you have to say total column Z to A as the next mark. Because they want you to go from most expensive to least expensive, but you have to know that you're using sort and filter and using the total column. That would be 2 marks inside here. That is it, basically. So the spreadsheet question early that I had is just that it's part of the computer thing. It's part of the scenario, and it's possible they could ask you things about the scenario, stuff like that. Right, once you're good, thumbs up, ask any questions, and then we're gonna go to the sample answers to see what they have for their sample answers. We good. Alright, everybody inside good so far? Why wouldn't you organize the cost of the item? Well, they ask for most expensive to least expensive, so good question, Jared. If they wanted it under total or cost per unit. You see in this previous question here, they asked average cost per unit, and this one said they want in order of most expensive to least expensive. So in the context of the question, he is trying to create a sheet that will show the things that he needs for the lab. So you probably want to use the total. When we get to the official answers, we'll see. But more than likely, I believe that is the total you're supposed to have, because this report has to be presented, and because the report has to be presented, you'll want to show the most, the highest total and then the smallest total, because the cost per unit's not going to really give the person that you're reporting to any better. Yeah, descending order. Who actually? Michael Forbes. Yeah, descending order is one of the things I say, but if you choose Z to A is cool, or you could put descending. Yeah, that would be correct also. So you're going to use the sort and filter function, and you're using the total column. The reason I think you should use the total column is because they ask for the most expensive to the least expensive, and it is a report. So if you're given this report, contextually speaking, based on how the question is phrased, you want to show the report to the person that whoever is receiving the report, could be the manager, the principal, whoever, they will rather see the total going from highest to lowest. Because here's what matters to them. The cost per unit doesn't really matter to them, because after you multiply this by that, you might end up getting more or less depending on what you're doing. So total might be better. But let me go to the official answers and we see what's going on there, right? Alright, so I'm going to jump to the answers now and let's see what they said. Specimen paper answers. Alright, cool. Alright, so question 2 is what we're doing. Alright, so let's go. Alright, so according to them, input devices, central processing unit, memory, storage, output devices, right? So any one of those four would be correct, which is what we have. So we have input, processing, output, storage, right? So input, processing, memory, secondary storage, output devices, any one of those. So we go to that. That's what they said. Good. Then they ask input devices, storage devices. So input devices feed data into the computer, CPU, execute instructions from the software. I have where data is changed from one state to another. They would have to accept that too, because it executes the instructions. But the processing unit, it executes instructions. So that's the official answer. Storage devices, output devices refer to devices that allow process information to be converted into a format that is available outside the computer system. I have since processed data to a device. So in how they read it, once it's correctly explained, meaning it makes sense, they will accept it. So all the ways that it was explained here make sense there. Next one is a LAN, local area network. So you see how they have in the answer here, local area network. It's very possible that they're looking for the words local area network. But if you put LAN, they will probably be like, okay, well, obviously they know that it's a local area network. So sometimes when the markers come together, they will decide, all right, well, we'll accept LAN and we'll not accept local area network. I mean, we'll accept LAN and local area network. That's very possible. All right, next part now. Reliability test, right? Good. So you see they have here currency is one. Currency is to look at the dates, and if the article or information is old, so that it's no longer useful. So you see they have the state. They explain what you have to do when you're doing currency, and then you want to give some sort of example where it is no longer useful. That's how the 3 marks are broken down. Always remember that. Next one, he could check for biases. So biases is 1. So need to look for objective source. Refer to get information from a seller may provide exaggerated reviews on our product, right? So which is what I was explaining. Third one they have is relevance. Relevance by checking to see if the information meets the specifications applicable to the region where it's located, right? And then you'll see any 2 reliability tests and correct discussion. So reliability would be one of them. Accuracy could be another one, because these things here are guides for how to market. And when they come together, they will figure out, you know. Majesty Royal, well, welcome. Whoever sent it that link take you a long way. Every day 12 o'clock, right? All those who in the who now come in the chat there. Alright, so that's them marking it there. Now we're going on to the spreadsheet part. Merge and center. So again, 1 mark for merge, 1 mark for center. Cake. I mean, that's like giveaway marks, baby marks there, right? Then next mark is B4 by C4. Yeah, I think they're mad. Total cost for student computers. Write the text for the formula to be inserted in D3 to calculate total cost for student computers. Student computers is on row 3. Yeah, so clearly they made a mistake here because it's not B4 by C4 because that's the computer tables. So I'll probably have to send CSEC an email and tell them, hey, the syllabus have a wrong answer in anything, right? How do I get B4 by C4? Yeah, not making sense, right? Good. So yes, this is a clear case of CSEC making errors. And if they could make an error in a specimen paper, they could make an error while marking. That's why a bunch of people usually come together to mark it. And they usually point out these things. So if I was marking, the first thing I would do is I'll go through the question and I'll go through the answers, and then I would go to the head examiner or whatnot, or the table leader, or whoever it is, and say, hey, this answer here is wrong. We need to change it so that everybody knows when they're marking that they're looking for the new answer. And we'd probably have to change this to B3 and C3. So don't beat up too much. There are human beings, some of them like me, well, a lot of them like me, that will ask questions and fight for the students' marks, because sometimes the way that they put the mark scheme, it doesn't favor the students. But there are human beings that try to fight it. But I don't, like, I mark enough already. I ain't really gonna mark anymore. That's kind of, marking is hard. Okay, so that'll be part 2. Now part 3, let's see what they say. Sum of D4 to D13. Why they put D4 to D13 again? Part 3 says, write the function that will be inserted in D13 to calculate the total expected cost. Yeah, well, that's wrong again, because you can't put D13 inside the total cost. It had to be D4 to D12. Total expected cost. Yeah. Yeah, this one have a mistake too, right? Because to calculate the total expected cost, which would be from D3 to D12. Because if you go from D4, you'll be skipping out computer here. So there's an error too. We have sum is equal to D3 to D12. I didn't notice these. Actually, this is the first time I actually going through these answers so detailed. I just kind of did the specimen paper already, looked at it, and I was like, all right, cool, I understand what they're trying to do. But it's actually the first time that I'm working it out, so I'm not realizing that the answer is wrong. So it's really D3 to D12, which is the answer we have based on the spreadsheet that we have in the paper. D3 to D12. Right, good. So now that's an error from CSEC. Kind of weird that they have 2 errors on the same spreadsheet. Anyhow, average C4 to C13. Yeah, they make a mistake again. I feel they probably changed the spreadsheet in the middle of doing this thing, because they totally leaving out student computer, and they didn't say anything about report must include well-organized spreadsheets. Incomplete spreadsheet is no. Nah. Alright, so this answer here wrong too on the mark scheme. C4 to C13, quite really supposed to be C3 to C12. You could clearly see that here. C3 and C3 to C12 will be the last value, not 13. Because if you include 13, that's where the actual has nothing in it. So cool, and then sort the items by column C. Okay, so who's the person that asked the question about somebody asked the question about it should be C cost per unit instead of total? Well, yeah, in their answers they have cost per unit in descending order. In mine, I put total in descending order. Now, clearly they say John decides he wants the rows organized so that they are in order of most expensive to least expensive. So most expensive what to least expensive what. They didn't state it. So it's highly likely that the people that correct in the exam, or the examiners, the markers, they're going to argue and say, listen, the question didn't state which most expensive to least expensive you want. So they were supposed to say most expensive cost per unit to least expensive cost per unit. That way you will know is column C. But there are two things that we could sort here, total and cost per unit, because the total is actually a number amount too. So if your logic was using total as opposed to cost per unit, then you would still argue, and most likely the mark scheme will have to update because of that, because the mark scheme does always update, because it always has something that the people who set the exams, they just make assumptions, and then assumptions. Yeah. Who's that? Spectral. I start streaming at 12. If you subscribe to the channel and put on the notification bell, you will get a notification as soon as the live stream happens. But that's 12 o'clock. So far I've been doing it 12 o'clock every day. But if you need to know more, follow on Instagram and you will see when I post, if I have a live today or not. But most of the times it's 12 o'clock on the dot. So if you missed out, then make sure you click the notification bell so that you get a notification when the stream starts. Alright, so that's the answers there. I think I explained why they use cost per unit here, but it would be a very strong argument for total also if you decided to use it. Alright, any questions before we move on? Well, before I go, because only doing one question per day and it's taking about an hour to do a question in great detail. Tell me if you're ready for the slow scroll, if you're ready for the slow scroll, so that when you're looking over the video, you can just kind of get a quick overview of all the answers. Let me know. Remember, the link to this specimen paper is in one of the previous videos. The CSEC, what's been added, what's been removed. I'll see if I could add that in as a link underneath. Majesty Royal from Jamaica, so I'm 1 hour ahead of you, yeah, so that means you would have, yeah, you had to come on at 11 o'clock. Jared asks if would both answers be correct. Yes, based on how CXC does mark, most likely they will accept both answers because they will realize that the question was ambiguous. If the question was ambiguous, the teachers will argue for it and say that it should be total or cost per unit. If the channel gets 1,000, I'll do a free crash course. So if you want that free crash course, get the channel to 1,000 and we will I will facilitate your learning. Alright, slow scroll time. The question starts here. These are the answers. Slowly scrolling, slowly scrolling, slowly scrolling, so that you will get the answers that you want to look at, and you can just press pause if you need to. Next page. Slowly scrolling, slowly scrolling. Ooh, I write real plenty on this page, but I was explaining a lot about this. So if you're watching this after the fact, kind of go back to the video and see why I had to write so much, because I needed to explain real plenty here to make sure you understand what's going on. Cool. Next one. Slow scrolling again. You're going to want to look at this one also inside the video, somewhere around the half an hour mark. And then going again. Yeah. And I could. Alright, so that's it. Alright. Yeah, Jared asked if both answers will be correct. Yeah, I think I answered that question, yeah. Right, so hopefully time 12 noon EST, that one for the Manny Morris Academics. Hey, I did the 2 SBA videos, and each video have the link to the other video inside of it. Like, go and search your channel, but like Manny Morris. I did the SPA video for everything. It's there. Like, I think all else just be like whatever YouTube recommend you. You just like watch that. Go and search the channel. The channel have like 50 something videos now that could deal with almost any topic that you want. It's not always going to come to you. You have to do some of the work. So I'm gonna give you a link to the SBA playlist. Because apparently when I do videos, it's only come to you, you know, when you're necessary, when you feel like it. Divided by the playlist. Yeah, playlist. Which video does you want? The Word on website video? I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna share that for you. Just cause you ask. But please, I'm begging. I really begging. If you want information, search the channel. Cause that way you go. Good. And if see playlist videos, research SP playlist, yeah, copy. Right, yeah, so everybody, yeah, Vuna, you're welcome. Tomorrow for sure. Fayad, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for saying thanks. Remember, go and share the videos with your friends, people in your class. Even if you don't like them, let them at least be able to get one in IT. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice of you caring for your friends. Alright, so we good day. Thumbs up and a gun. See you tomorrow.